we're building the foundation to have in the end a hosting business that can be multiple times of the size that we have right now. And we fully believe in that we can do this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the A2 Hosting Show. We're continuing our deep dive today into the humans leading A2 Hosting at World Host Group. You've already met Seb, our CEO, Panos, our COO, and Dom, our CTO, key people leading our organization, of course, for key areas that touch you, our customers, our agency partners. And now next is Tim Koerner, our Chief Commercial Officer, who leads our product, marketing, and agency account teams here at A2 Hosting. Tim brings a wealth of experience in the hosting and software industry and plays a key role in shaping what we do for you directly. In fact, the key things you interact with as a client, customer here, his work and his teams touch that directly. So it's the work underneath that you're going to see and hear. He plays a crucial role in how we think about and build products for you, ensuring that everything we create is designed for your journey and your success in mind. Building, you're going to see that we build things for you. Key investment as part of A2 Hosting and World Host Group, and Tim leads that. His leadership philosophy is to connect our teams with your journey, your needs, your goals for your success, and then you'll hear how he empowers our teams to ship and iterate for you for those excellent experiences as you do your work online. So we're going to talk about his background, what brought him here, what's compelling about our startup and entrepreneurial environment here at A2 Hosting, and his vision for the future. And we'll talk about all those things in detail. So let's jump into that conversation with Tim about what's ahead for A2 Hosting and World Host Group. Hey everyone, welcome back to the A2 Hosting Show. And today I've got another one of our leaders at World Host Group and A2 Hosting in Tim Koerner. We're going to be talking in just a second with Tim, but before this, we've been talking to Seb, our CEO, Panos, our COO. We've talked to Dom, our CTO, and now last but certainly not least, we're getting to Tim Koerner, our Chief Commercial Officer at A2 Hosting World Host Group. Welcome, Tim.
Thank you very much. Very happy to be here. Thanks, Cory.
Well, I've been working with you for a couple of months and I really admire your leadership. It's obvious you've got a depth of experience before coming here that you show up every meeting I've been a part of. I'm like, Tim knows his things. But could you tell us, what does a chief commercial officer do at a hosting company like A2?
Sure. So I think in general, it's always a little bit different how you interpret this role and what is behind the role. But what I do at World Host Group and A2 is in the end being responsible for everything that has to do with organic growth. So from how customers experience our products, how they use them, until how we sell additional products to them, how we create value for our customers, but of course also for World Host Group and A2 in the end. And also in the beginning, of course, how we position our brands, how we market our brands, how we go to market with our brands, which channels we use, which language, narrative, all of these kind of things. So in the end, if you take a look at it from a commercial point of view, is everything that has to do with organic growth. But also if you look at it from a customer point of view, everything that has to do in the end, how you experience the products, how you use the products, and everything that isn't customer care, that isn't with consulting on products, but it's everything else. And of course, we work very closely together with with Panos. So everything on the customer care side, customer support, and with Dom on the technical side as well.
Well, one thing that stuck out, and I think you said a number of these, but product, developing the products that our customers experience, but also sales or accounts and marketing are under your umbrella. And I thought that feels what I've seen in other orgs feels more, I don't know, a right fit together because you're working so hand in hand with each other.
Yeah. I think what we see is that all of these things are very connected in the end, and so making sure that, for example, let's talk about a customer journey. So a customer journey typically starts with how you see a brand out there in the marketplace, like how you experience it. And it could be that maybe has a very fresh look to it. It has a different way of communicating to potential prospects and customers. And then when you choose to purchase from this brand, it's first how you interact with the product. Like it's the onboarding of it. It's the like how we help you being successful with our product. And then of course in like the rest of the journey can be things like, okay, if you have an issue, customer care, if there's something we can even help you further with, it could be design services, these kind of things, everything what you need. This is part of the customer journey too. Of course, in the end, customers churn in the end sometimes, and they like everything around this is very much connected and it needs different teams and different steps of it. But if we do a good job, it's seamless, right? It's seamless journey for the customer. And therefore, we see a lot of benefit from having a lot of this in one organization. But in the end, it's not only the organization, or it's like not only the structures. In the end, it's also how the company values journey and user experience for a customer, and how we want also our teams working together. Because hierarchy and who reports to whom is not as important as in the end, like the vision, the strategy, the culture. And that is something what is very important to us at World Host Group, and of course, including A2 hosting.
I think you just connected it real there, what I was sensing, but you clarified and you said it's the journey. You think about our customers and how they experience, and it helps to have these particular departments under one umbrella for that ultimate
Yeah.
customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. But in the end, it's also less about me, but rather the teams that are working on this. So having the right people in the organization, empowering these people, putting them, matching their skills, capabilities with the strategy and the vision that we're having, and then actually empowering them to do the work, and trusting them that they do the work. And that is something what I'm truly believing in. Because in the end, when you hire great people, you put them together under a great strategy and vision, they would do great things for our customers in the end. And then also the outcome commercially for us, for our investors, will also be there.
Well, I think it's right after I got started when the acquisition happened, and I knew you took a team like up a mountain or something in Bulgaria. And it's very symbolic of what, like, I think how you lead here. Is that right? You kind of take them up some
Yeah,
kind of climb or something?
yeah. So the so yeah. Unfortunately, you weren't officially a part of us, so you couldn't join. We would have loved you to have you with us in Bulgaria. Indeed, we did a commercial leadership offsite in Bulgaria, because in Sofia we have in Europe the largest office. So it was very handy for us to actually have proper meeting rooms and structures in place to have 16, 17 people there. And we spent 4 days in Sofia, and one of the days we did a team building exercise, and we actually climbed up the largest mountain in Bulgaria. So we started at 1,800 meters and went up to 3,000 meters. It was around minus 10 degrees Celsius up there. So it started with it as a nice walk, but it got quite challenging at the end. So I think everyone underestimated it a bit. But we enjoyed it in the end. Everyone made it to the top. Everyone made it safely back. So very important, of course, right? But I think it all brought us closer together, right? Like spending mostly almost a day together on such an adventure, and spending time together outside of the regular meetings and strategy discussion or performance discussion, the operational work, right? Our day-to-day jobs. So doing this actually brought the team very closely together, and we will do it again. Maybe not climbing a mountain, maybe something else, but I think it was very cool. Yeah.
Well, we have our next one in a couple weeks, so I'll see what you have planned for us then. We'll see each other in London now, so
Yes.
that's excellent. Well, and I wanted to share some of that because that's why, there's a lot of executives, and you've been in hosting and software for a long time, but most people don't get an opportunity to hear from. And that's why, like, I wanted to connect that. I had seen that and heard that. I think I saw a picture and thought it's a very good example of how I've seen you lead here and what you're doing. So, okay. So I want to dig into your background, what led up to here,
Yeah.
what formulates your thoughts and vision and values about how we do product, how we do the different departments in your purview. But I'll ask just first. So you've been around, you've been doing your thing, and we'll talk about those things. But what inspired you? What excited you about taking on this role at World Host Group?
So I think one of the first things that when you, for example, start interviewing for such a role, and when which by the way came through a network. I mean, you're in hosting as long for a long time. It's a very small industry. Everyone knows everyone basically. So, and I think it starts with the people, right? Like when you start thinking about like, or could that be an interesting role for me? Could it be a next step in my career? It's all about the people you're gonna start working together. Because in the end, um, yeah, you need to buy into what we're doing, into the vision and so on. And that is of course very compelling, because it's not a pure private equity backed buy and build case. Of course, that's I would say very much what we do, but we do also do other things. And we're going to talk about this, like when it comes rather from the commercial vision, what we're building from a product point of view, from a user experience point of view, also from a brand point of view, what we're building. Um, so of course, this is part of what you want to do, but in the end, what I wanted to do, but also it comes back to who are the people I'm going to work with, who are the entrepreneurs behind World Host Group. And it's a very entrepreneurial driven environment. Of course, from the exec team, from everyone else on the team, from our investors as well. So that is something what was very compelling to me coming from a rather, I would say, corporate and enterprise world. And then having the step in my career at Ionos, and we're going to talk about that. I was with Ionos for a long time. I was able to lead the Austrian subsidiary for 3 years. So I stepped away from being in this corporate, larger setting into a smaller setting, running a subsidiary with 70, 75 people in a small market. But it was very, very interesting to me to move away from this rather corporate, PowerPoint driven, meeting driven culture to rather an entrepreneurial one. There are not many people there. We just need to get it done, right? We need to work. We need from strategy to action. This is a day. It's not 10 meetings, 10 weeks, another board meeting, another discussion, another business case, whatever. It's rather like start with an idea, a strategy, and then it goes into implementation. And then, of course, track the results. And that is something that was something I wanted to keep doing. So, and I felt after having my first talks, conversations with Zeb and David and our investors, I felt like, hey, this could be a very interesting step for me, and I'm very happy I did it. So I'm now here 8, 9 months, and it has been a hell of a ride so far. Of course, a lot of every day is different. We're a startup with the size of not a startup, but it's a young company, so we are not only growing and building a business in terms of growth, new customers, having at some point millions of customers, those kind of things, what we envision that we're building this, but also on the other side, we're building a company, right? It's when it comes to organization structure, but also culture in the end. And having these two areas and being able to do this at the same time, it's super challenging, it's super interesting, and it makes it's a lot of fun.
I resonate with what you're saying. I've done a couple of short stints with corporate world, and I just prefer the entrepreneurial side. I've been an entrepreneur for years, and like Seb and Panos and others on our leadership team, which is really compelling because it's that was my first concern. Okay, PowerPoints and slides, those are necessary things, but sometimes it's just, what do we need to do? Let's go. And I really value that because that just really breeds
Yeah,
innovation,
yeah,
don't you think?
and yeah, I fully agree, and I think perfect cannot be time to market in the end. Like, sure, we want to have a good product, we want to have a good solution, but being out there and just learning, like within, let's say, call it MVP 2.0, being out there, just getting firsthand like feedback from customers, getting live data in, it's much more meaningful than waiting another 6 or 12 months to have squeezed maybe out another 5% of quality, right? And I get that this gets more difficult the more customers you have, the more revenue you have when you're suddenly launching something for 5 million customers and changing, I don't know, the way how they use a product is, of course, something that is much more difficult to do than when you have 10,000 customers, right? It's I understand this, and I understand like that, like a corporate or an enterprise with these millions of customers or 10 millions of customers, that it's more difficult for them to change something. If they roll out new features, they need to just work. For us, it's easier to test it just like in a small brand and see, okay, how does it go with the small brand, and we can just get first-hand data and then rolled it out to the other ones. Um, but I think it's a much more fun way to work. Um, and we're much faster, and I really like this. That is something that I don't want to go back.
Yes. Well, again, I've ran product before on a much smaller level than what we do here at World Host Group, but you can spend months and months and months and months building something you think is going to work for the customer, or
Yeah,
what you just kind of
yeah,
anchored us back in is, no, let's put something out, figure out how customers respond to it, keep learning and keep iterating on that. And we can do
yeah.
that with this philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is also how we set the times, like our timelines for everything what we're doing. Like our roadmap for this year is completely full. Will we do everything of it? Most likely not, right? But if we achieve 80-90% of what we put on paper, which I'm very confident we can do, it was super successful, and other companies would have taken it much, much longer to do these kind of things. And but it's also not only like doing plans and being fast on it, but also how we react to changes, right? If we see that something is not working, or we get another opportunity, like there's also like how we're building the team right now. The team grew in areas which we couldn't foresee 3 months ago, because we had an opportunity, for example, to expand in a certain area of the business. That is something what we haven't thought about like a couple of months ago, right? You're actually one of the great examples here, Cory, right? Like we didn't have a chief evangelist at World Host Group for the other brands that we had last fall. Now we have one with you, and having you and Katie coming in, working with us across all the brands globally on how to promote our brands through great content marketing, PR, messaging internally, but of course very much externally. And that is something where we thought like we would have never basically did a job description for what you're doing, right? Never. But now we had the opportunity to get you in just basically through the acquisition of A2, and we see like what are the great things you're doing, and what you and Katie are doing, and what you bring to the business. So like, okay, hey, let's go ahead and let's empower the both of them to do this globally for us. And I think that is something what appeals very much to me. This part of our culture. This is like what we're doing, seeing opportunity, having the right people there for the opportunity, and empowering them to do this. And then this will, in the end, it's all about numbers. We're not an NGO, right? It's um, but all of this will support in the end also the business growth and our revenue targets and EBITDA targets in the end.
Yes, that's one thing you were mentioning, and I appreciate you saying that about Katie and I. And we're happy to be joining and hooking in. But I look around our team and I go, there's a team that came from Nimbus. Oh, everybody I've talked to, I'm like, I am so happy to be collaborating with you. You know what
Yeah,
you're doing. We're gonna have Lou on soon. I've admitted
nice,
she's a
very
little
good.
bit busy under some deadlines, but I was like, people need to know Lou's our director of product, by the way, her story. It's really incredible. But then you look at Daphne and different people that have come in through different ways into this melting pot and
Yeah,
go,
yeah,
this is really fun. We do have a really
yeah.
talented team here.
Absolutely, it's a very talented team, which we, as you said, brought in from. Some of them were hired, some of them came in from acquisitions we did, but we're all coming together. We have all I would say, the core beliefs, the core values are very similar here, and everyone is really intrigued what we're aiming to do, and what we will do, um, and we all love to work together very closely. And it's hard work. It's not like it's people are putting in long hours, but they're because they really like what we do. They really like to work together, and they really buy into the vision. And that is something I'm very happy about the team that we put together. I'm really enjoy working with them every day, and yeah,
Yeah. Well, we got all the way into some of those product and value things about how you lead our part of World Host Group in A2 and what we're doing for customers. And that was excellent. That's where I wanted to dive in, but I think we got some really good things about how you see our division, super talented people across all of it. One of the most fantastic broad teams I've been a part of for sure. Um, so Tim, I want to ask you, okay, so with all of this in view, your role, what you're doing now, talk about the future. What are you excited about in your role for World Host Group, for our customers with the team that you've assembled?
Yeah.
What excites you?
So there are a couple of elements. One of the, I think, is on the brand side. So there will be a lot of, I would say, very exciting news coming out shortly, and something where we gonna invest and build brands globally or locally, that can have and will have a leading role in their markets. So that is something, being part of this and being actually able to design and grow these brands is definitely something that excites me, and I think the majority of the team. That is something which is also from a culture point of view, and not only for us on the commercial team, but like everyone on the customer care side, on the technical side, everywhere across the whole team, something where they say, hey, I rather want to be somewhere where we're going to build and invest in brands and build something great, than just saying like, okay, maybe let's do business as usual and let's keep the status quo, right? So I think this is one part of it. The other one is, of course, what we're doing in terms of, we just briefly touched on it when it comes to our user experience and journey. And this is something where we're heavily investing right now into our own panel, and then based on technology that we're using, different parts of the billing system, on hosting panels that we're having, but building our own user panel client area, and actually being able to control the user experience, like from onboarding to product usage to, in the end, also retention, churn, like when customers decide to leave, having all of this under control and being able to manage basically the whole life cycle and journey of a customer is something where we are very intrigued by this, and we're investing a lot of time and resource into that to make, in the end, the products that we're selling as easy to use as possible for customers and giving them the right tools that they need. So a lot of our customers are micro businesses, prosumers, and so on. Of course, we also have web professionals, agencies, and larger customers. But when it comes to these micro businesses and so on, we need to make their life as easy as possible. They have no idea what kind of product they need. They have no idea about the products we're saying. They might have heard WordPress. They might have heard like, oh, a domain, or they know I need an email address, right? I need a professional email address. But that's it. They don't know how to build a website. They don't know, and it's much more difficult to build a website that looks nice than a lot of people think. So like taking all of these kind of things into consideration, investing in this and making it as easy as possible for our customers, but also building something technology-wise that we can also roll out to the multiple brands that we have in the end. Like, because this is also part of what we're doing. Everything what we're doing from a global, centralized and integrated product marketing technology stack. So we can all of this roll out to different brands. So therefore, we're also having a smaller but centralized team with locally infused expertise, let's call it that way. And that is something also where I feel we can bring value to customers of smaller brands and local brands that usually they wouldn't have, because they wouldn't have access to a product development team, a team that just focusing on building a client area panel, which you only would see at larger brands, but not necessarily at smaller local brands. And we can do this through the technology we're building. And then, of course, expanding our product portfolios. Right now, we're very much focused on domain, web hosting, WordPress hosting, virtual servers. We have a new email product live. These kind of things we have, but we're, I would say, very much the beginning of our product portfolio expansion. And we're going to roll out as part of our hosting plus strategy, as we call it. So we're going to roll out a lot of adjacent services around this, but also very much hosting focuses. So we're not going to start selling, at least now, accounting software or these kind of things. But there are a lot of other things where we feel we can add value through backup services, security solutions, marketing solutions that are very much embedded with the WordPress, for example, with WordPress or with other website building services and products that we're selling. And additionally, of course, I mean, everyone's talking about this. We're looking into where does it make sense to use AI functionalities in our products. So also, again, not for the purpose of let's put AI on the website and having a marketing claim there, but rather making the life of our customers as easy as possible, right? This is also what Panos is doing on the customer care side. Where can we use AI also to free agents up from, I would say, basic work and rather empower them to rather consult our customers and to have deeper conversations with them and helping them on, let's say, larger issues than just helping them where they can find an invoice. These kind of things should rather than go through the panel, everything digital and AI supported to make the life of the customers as easy as possible, right? And then last but not least, of course, we are also expanding our account management functionalities for our agency customers, for our larger customers. We have currently around, including A2, around 4,000 medium to large customers that can be agency customers, could be corporates that are being served by very dedicated, very good and highly engaged account management team that we have with people, for example, in the UK, US, Australia, and also globally that work on this. So this is also part of it. And of course, there are a lot of, I would say, underlying support function and things that we're doing from commercial management, pricing, churn, retention. This is rather, I would say, not so much interested for our customers, but when it comes from value generation from a commercial point of view, of course, something what we're happily doing. We're investing we're working with a customer engagement platform. This will also be part of our panel that we're building, so that in the end, when it comes to communication, how we communicate to customers, that all of this is seamlessly integrated from email, WhatsApp, SMS to in the end in the panel, in product communication. All of this is going to be very much connected and integrated. And we're very much looking forward to it. A lot of great things to come this year.
A lot of great things, and we keep smiling when we talk about this because we're not ready to talk about all of it.
Yeah.
But I see one benefit, I would say, is when you share some of the things we're doing with the panel and the environment is building this foundation. And when I was talking to Seb yesterday about this, he goes, "This is going to be a transformational phase for us because it's building that foundation." And we know when we control those things, more of those elements, we can help control the experience, make the better experience for customers. When everything is kind of in here, baked in from the beginning, that's just kind of the peripheral work I've been seeing going. I see where we're going. There's going to be some building of foundation now in order to do a lot of things in the future that would free us up to really nail that customer experience.
Absolutely. And in the end, we're in here to play with the big boys, right? And it's in terms of size in the end, but also in terms of capabilities. And it comes back to team again, right? We brought in a lot of experts that actually know how to do these things, and that are very highly skilled and capable of delivering the vision that we have, the commercial vision that comes from the user experience and so on, that comes from adding great products to building a great sales account management team, but also, of course, working on the commercial practices, working on our channels out there, building a brand, these kind of things. We have great people doing this. And as you said, we're building the foundation to have in the end a hosting business that can be multiple times of the size that we have right now. And we fully believe in that we can do this.
Well, and there was many reasons to pull you on to the A2 hosting show and showcase the leaders that are the humans and leaders that are leading our company. But, one important thing in all of this is we're going to continue to acquire new business, new teams. But there's another huge phase, which is the one you lead for us, which is build. And if you haven't counted, everybody listening, how many times we've talked about build, this is all about building that touches you, the customer, in the end. And I think, Tim, you've been around for a long time in the industry. You know how some of these come. And that was one of the compelling other parts to this is we're not just buying a bunch, rolling them off, building. No, we are investing significantly in building for the future.
Absolutely. So I think this comes back to what I said in the beginning, right? Of course, we are private equity backed buy and build case, but I think the buying, or let's call it buy, integrate, and build. So I think the integration is a very very important part of what we're doing, and we're very good at it. Especially people like Zap, Dom, Panos, they're really doing an awesome job at that. I haven't seen that somewhere else at that scale in the industry. So this is I would say the groundwork of what we are doing on the commercial side, because the building then we talked about the panel, we talked about the product portfolio, we talked about brands, channels. All of this will be done from a centralized, let's call it single growth platform, And all of this is only possible because we're integrating, right? So that also means in the future, because we'll continue acquiring businesses globally, hosting businesses, and when we're going to integrate them, they will be actually benefiting from what we're building on the growth platform, from the panel, from the user experience, from the additional products, but also, of course, from commercial practices. Retention offers, just give you one very straightforward example. And I know maybe some of our listeners might not be familiar with what I'm talking about, like, but in the end, having customers, or like giving customers the opportunity to stay maybe on with us a little bit longer by giving them maybe a good offer, or giving them highlighting some of the benefits of our platforms, of our products, and so on, is of course very valuable for the customers, but of course for us as a business as well. Right?
Well, I think even if some of that didn't all hit there, it's a real good showcase, Tim, of that there's thought, that there's planning, strategy behind all this, and intention of what we're trying to build here. And it really pulls that up of we can do these things now in order to build and help our customers into the future. So
Yeah, absolutely.
well, Tim, thanks so much for coming on, sharing all of some of your stories, some of your values, how you lead and grow. And I appreciate your time today, helping us showcase the humans leading us at World Host Group and A2 Hosting. Is there anything else we left out that you wanted to mention before we wrap up?
Just check this space, right? Stay put. See, a lot of great things are coming, and yeah, if you want to join us and be part of what we're doing, yeah, just hit us up on LinkedIn, right?
Absolutely. We actually hired, I think, someone just probably a couple of weeks ago. Those announcements will be going out soon, but I think through some of those connections. So be sure to connect in with Tim and see some of his, and A2 and World Host Group, very active on those platforms.
Exactly.
So thanks, Tim. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody.
very much, Cory.